Local supporters of gay marriage are celebrating the decision at a rally tonight in Bakersfield. That's where we find 17's Kristen Price, who's live on Stockdale Highway near California Avenue with reaction to the High Court's ruling. Kristen?
Tammy, there are two rallies this evening in support of gay marriage, one here at this location, and there's also one at the Gay and Lesbian Center on 18th Street. And while the decision is a victory for the gay community, acceptance is still an uphill battle.
I'm 16 and I'm Mormon and I'm gay all at the same time.
Jordan Montgomery says the Supreme Court's decision on same-sex marriage is what he and his family were hoping for.
I will get to sit on the front row of my son's wedding. And it means everything to me that I can look at my son and say, you are now equal in every way.
But Wendy Montgomery didn't always support gay marriage.
We told our children what the church told us, that we were just defending traditional marriage. And it is probably my biggest shame and my biggest regret.
Montgomery says her feelings changed 3 years ago when her son Jordan told the family he is gay.
It's amazing what changes when it's somebody that you know.
They told me over and over that this is okay and that we still love you and we will figure this out.
But not everyone is as supportive.
It's wrong, immoral. We're built on with moral and ethics, and it's just not right.
I know what it's like to think that gay marriage is wrong. I spent 36 years there, and I know what it's like to think that it's right. And just in the past 3 years that I've spent there, I know this is the right side.
And we haven't been informed of any rallies here in Bakersfield against the decision. Live in Southwest Bakersfield, I'm Kristen Price, 17 News.
Marriage legal now in all 50 states. That historic announcement today after a 5-4 vote today by the Supreme Court. Here locally, supporters celebrating while others say this decision will, quote, tear down our society. 23 ABC's Laura Acevedo now with reaction from both supporters and opponents. Laura?
Tim, people I spoke to today had strong opinions on both sides. While many agreed with the ruling, others are very disappointed with the court's decision.
They've reaffirmed that all Americans are entitled to the equal protection of the law, that all people should be treated equally, regardless of who they are or who they love.
President Obama spoke this morning shortly after the Supreme Court's ruling came down. Locally, the LGBTQ community is celebrating.
Waking up this morning to this incredible news, we danced around the house for 20 minutes and just so excited and tears and happy and laughing. And I know that that's happening in many houses in Bakersfield today.
But that feeling of happiness is not universal. Traditional marriage supporters say the court got it wrong today.
I think it's a huge disappointment for our country because it goes beyond gay marriage, because what the court did here was an abomination. It's ridiculous.
This historic ruling now gives same-sex couples legal marriage rights that include hospital visitation rights, unemployment eligibility, and inheritance rights, among many others. Some say this was long overdue.
In this day and age, it's probably something that, it is something that needed to happen, and it's a good thing that it happened now.
Others, citing their religion, insisting that marriage should stay between a man and a woman.
I do believe it's against God's word, and it's unfortunate that they're taking so many decisions away from God and taking it in their own hands and making these decisions.
It is still a very controversial topic, but for now, local supporters are out celebrating at a rally on Stockdale Highway and Village Lane. Tim?
We have more tonight on the U.S. Supreme Court's historic decision to legalize same-sex marriage in all 50 states. Eyewitness News reporter Matt Boone spoke with local members of the LGBT community and has more on this decision. Matt?
Kurt, the ruling comes after decades of Supreme Court litigation on this issue. It was close. The court split 5-4 with Justice Anthony Kennedy as the swing vote. But when the ruling came down, it was cause for celebration all over America. Cheers across the country from D.C. to West Hollywood and here in Bakersfield. Supporters lining up along Stockdale Highway celebrating the historic ruling.
I think that we're finally opening our hearts, that we're finally saying yes, equality, what was lined out in the Constitution.
It's a really exciting time for all of us who sometimes thought maybe this day would never come.
The decision was huge for John Davies, an English professor at Bakersfield College who's lived in the area most of his life.
For me, having grown up in this town, a young gay man, it meant a lot to get so much affirmation.
He says he came out in the 90s, a difficult time for those in the LGBT community.
I would have people, if I was out with somebody I was dating, throw beer bottles at me and yell things. I think people felt like because their pastor says that homosexuality is sinful, that they're kind of allowed to be angry and violent.
The Roman Catholic Diocese of Fresno, which includes Catholic churches here in Kern County, released a statement saying in part, redefining marriage in the law is gravely unjust and affects everyone, especially the children. But for many Christians, the ruling came as no big surprise.
From a Christian standpoint, certainly I have my views, but I understand that from a legal standpoint, and millions of people serve that, something had to give.
The decision legalizes gay marriage in the 14 states that still had bans. After it was released, President Obama called the lead plaintiff to congratulate him.
Your leadership on this, has changed the country.
Later saying it was a victory for America.
Today we can say, in no uncertain terms, that we've made our union a little more perfect.
While gay marriage had been legal in California since 2013, Davies says the ruling has certainly made an impact here.
It feels more real.
And also represents a new era for the LGBT community.
For anybody in Bakersfield who feels like it's bad now, I can attest to the fact that it's gotten better and better.
This is cool. Here's a look at what the White House looked like tonight, illuminated in rainbow colors in honor of the ruling. Certainly a major day in the rights of the LGBT community. In studio, Matt Boone, Eyewitness News. Courtney.
That came together to celebrate that historic ruling at the Supreme Court tonight, shared their pain in the loss of that BPD officer. And that's where we find 23 ABC's Stephen Hicks. He's live tonight to tell us more with that side of the story. Stephen?
Well, good evening, Tim. We're here at the Bakersfield Police Department with the flag flying at half-mast, and it was just a couple hours ago where part of the LGBT community came together. They put a pause on their celebrations from this historic day, that monumentous Supreme Court decision, and they grieved along with the rest of the Bakersfield community. It's something gay rights activists have been fighting for all their lives. And earlier today, it finally happened. Equal marriage rights for all. But on that same day where they celebrated with so much joy, they felt the pangs of loss along with the rest of Bakersfield.
We're celebrating. We're kind of putting a pause on that celebration and recognize that somebody that protected our community passed away in the line of duty.
More than 24 came together in front of the Nile Theater and marched in solemn remembrance.
We felt very strongly that it was important for us to make a stand and say, in the gay community, we care.
The group formed a circle on the steps of the Bakersfield Police Department and with their candles formed a heart. An officer came out and joined the group in a moment of silence.
You need to stop and say, this is our community, this is where we live. There are things beyond just politics. And tonight we're going to show that we care about people.
Even on a day of so much joy and excitement from the LGBT community, respect for the fallen. Well, and that officer that you just saw, he was in and out so quickly, I wasn't able to talk with him, but I overheard him saying to Whitney there, thank you so much for all your support, and you could see that he was visibly touched, as Tim, I'm sure you could see earlier at the vigil at noon right here. Tim, back to you.